Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, the plan is to level out the backyard a bit. Our house is built on the side of a cliff. There's probably only about 2 to 3 inches of soil, and because underneath that is some very intricate terrain, the backyard is far from smooth. So today we're just gonna be smoothing it out with this pile of dirt here, which came from here. Last summer, we stripped all of this down to the pure bedrock, and I guess this is a perfect example of what is around the rest of our property, but with that little bit of soil on top. The unfortunate part is all of this soil, it's filled with a bunch of rocks and sticks and roots and things like that. So I'm gonna have to siphon all of it first before I can start spreading it around. I probably should have done this earlier on in the year because the grass is already starting to grow now, and the last thing I want is to spread all of this dirt around and then have dirt for the entire summer. So without further ado, it's time to get into that hustle mindset and start cranking through this pile of soil. But first, if you're new here, my name's Kevin, and my wife Michelle and I bought this stunning property on beautiful Vancouver Island, and we're turning it into our dream forever home. So tag along as I work on projects over the years and make a big difference. So originally I was trying to contemplate how am I going to get through this entire pile because it is quite large. And I was thinking maybe I can build something that's like a cylindrical thing that spins. I just throw the soil in and it would all do its own thing. But it's not really a product that you can rent, I don't think. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set up 4 of these pails here. And then I have a couple pieces of wood with some mesh in it. I'll throw the soil in it, spread it around with my hands, and it will fall into the middle. And then I'll be left with all the rocks on top and some beautiful fresh soil below. I'm curious to see what it looks like underneath because it has been covered for, I would say, about like 6 months or so. Interesting. It's like a bunch of grass tried to grow underneath. Doesn't like it need photosynthesis and natural sunlight, and through that tarp I don't think it's getting any. So anyway, let's get to sifting. And now that all the soil is in here, all I have to do is slap on some gloves, rub my hands around, and you should see from the bottom that all of the soil is coming on through. And on top, I'm gonna be left with all of the junk that I don't want in the yard, like the rocks and the sticks and the roots. All I have to do now is keep loading it up about 680,000 more times, rub my hands, rub my hands, rub my hands. I'll be left with a nice pile of clean soil without all the debris in it, and then we can go on to the next step of spreading it around the yard. It's gonna be absolutely glorious. And just like that, we have all the debris. But unfortunately, what I forgot to think about was the fact that now I have all this debris here and I can't keep loading it up with soil. So after every time I do a couple shovels, I'm gonna have to bring it over here to dump it out. Needless to say, I'm definitely gonna get my workout in today. Okay, so it's been about half an hour so far, and I'm kind of making a bit of a dent in the pile. This stuff is so nice and soft and fluffy, so I'm excited to toss it around the yard and put some grass in. But unfortunately, it just started raining, so I'm gonna put the camera away and continue working on it. Based on how long it took me to get this pile done, I'm thinking maybe like 8 to 10 hours to sift through it all, but then I'll be done. So I'll see you when it stops raining another day, and this pile's gonna be a whole lot bigger, like this. Yesterday, after I put the camera away, I just continued working until it was dark out, about 2.5 hours or so, and I got this much done, which doesn't really look like a lot. So I think my estimates are right, probably about 8 to 10 hours. So I'm gonna keep tracking forward and get it done. So yeah, that's essentially the whole process. Just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. This pile gets bigger and that one gets smaller. That's it. That's it. The thing is though, and I must say, once you get into the rhythm of doing this, it's actually kind of relaxing. I really, really enjoy our backyard. So being back here is super relaxing. And on a beautiful day like today, it's pretty chill to just sit here and sift through the soil. And once you stop thinking about the fact that you're doing some labor, all that's left is the fact that you're out here in the beautiful nature and enjoying the weather, getting some vitamin D and making progress on your property. Also, there's this beautiful breeze coming through. The wind chimes over here sound really good. Home. Home. Well, I think just 4 more hours. A little bit of an update. Yesterday, I did put an additional 4 hours of work into this big sifting job, and now I'm left with quite a small pile here. I think this represents about 2 hours more of work, and then I'll be done this sifting for good. So I'm just gonna throw on some dirty clothes, just got home from work, and then we'll be able to tackle that and then move on to the next part. Heck yes. Yes! Oh, now I can rest for 2 seconds because that was just part 1. Let's take a little recap of where we're at now. So here's the pile of sifted soil that we have. It's definitely way bigger than I thought it was gonna be, but I guess it's just because it's super fluffy and beautiful right now. Currently the yard is very uneven, so if I just throw it around now, I'm gonna waste a bunch. So I'm gonna have to preliminarily level it out as is. The next step is gonna be to grab a flat shovel and then start scraping off the high spots until it's as smooth as it can be. Then I'm gonna start filling the soil in the buckets, start spreading it around, raking it smooth. So let's go grab a shovel and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Right here is a pretty significant high spot and then it dips down. So if I was to try to fill and smooth out this area, I'm gonna have to build up the soil so high here. So if I can scrape this out first, then it'll be way easier, because if I don't do it, I'm not gonna have enough soil there. I've always seen this hump here. I've always had to walk over it. So I'm really excited to finally get rid of it. Let's see if this flat shovel can take it down. Phew! So yeah, I'm sure you get the picture. Now it's a lot smoother, so when I fill it in, I won't have to use as much. Whew! That's some exercise. Now I just have to do that throughout the rest of the whole entire yard. Let's get her done, boys and ladies. Hopefully this makes sense to you what I'm doing. Take out the high spots, cut in close to the rock, and make it as flat as possible everywhere so that when you're walking around as an old person in your 80s, you don't roll your ankle. Because I'm gonna be 80 one day. So after the sun went down yesterday, I got pretty carried away and kept going on and digging and digging and digging and digging, but I think it's kind of what needs to be done. I'm gonna only really be doing this once before I start growing the grass, so while I'm in there, might as well do it right. So I've been trying to smooth out as many places as possible, kind of layering the backyard, and it's looking really good. At least I'm seeing the vision for it. So today I'm gonna continue tackling that, then I'm gonna trim down all of the grass with a weed eater and then spread the soil. The tough part is that I gotta finish this all by today because tomorrow is gonna start pouring rain and we don't wanna be doing it in that type of weather. So today is absolutely stunningly beautiful, which is awesome, and I'm really excited about it. So let's get right on into it. One of the things that I actually want to start out with today, though, is to remove this garden bed. We have 3 of them in the yard here, but this one is kind of in the middle of this flatter area. So I'm going to remove it, and it'll really open up the space, I think. Rotted out and gone. One of the great parts about doing this as well is that some of these top pieces of wood are in pretty decent condition, and these ones, this side looks pretty good, but the other sides are in quite disrepair, so I can utilize these to make those a bit better. Gonna keep these here nails. I'm gonna have to be a little bit cautious because there's still a blueberry plant in there that Michelle's gonna be repotting today, and then there's some other plant, but I don't really know what it is. So this is already looking way better. I like the flow of this more natural feel throughout instead of this big brick right here. Still gonna have to remove the 2 plants and figure out something with this irrigation line. I'll probably just shorten it up and put in a straight patch. I like it. So I just realized that if I pull this irrigation line as hard as I can, it kind of sinks that one in. So I'm going to do that for now. So, yeah, I'll probably have to dig a bit, but that's a good start. On to some more leveling. This part over here is quite a ramp, so I want to try to cut it level so then it swoops around the shed here, and then I'm going to put a little retaining wall of temporary rocks, and then it's going to look sweet. Ah, right in my foot. We're getting pretty close. Now I'm gonna need to find some boulders to make a little bit of a retaining wall. And right here, which I'll change the camera position to show you, are some great rocks. Whether or not I'll actually be able to move them is still in question, but they are loose, so I should be able to. And they're nice and large too, so that should be good. Plus there's already moss on them, so it should look pretty natural. This is like a tree trunk or something. That's not even a rock. That can go over there. Is this a rock that I can move? Yep. Sweet. 1, 2, 3. Heck yeah. Maybe this one too even. Yep. Okay. Watch your back and 1, 2, 3. Woo! Oh man, this is gonna be incredible. So I have all of these large boulders in here in place. Now I just have to use these smaller boulders to fill in the gaps like a puzzle, and then fill the dirt in, smooth this out, and it's gonna be mint. So I know that the videos never do any of this justice, but I am so happy with this. It is looking incredible, and I cannot wait to just continue to fine tune it. For now though, I'm gonna continue grinding through the rest of the property, or backyard here at least, and then I'll bring you back when I'm on to the next step. Okay, here we are. We have done an insane amount of work. I still have to do a little bit more, but unfortunately the sun is starting to go down. The rain is on its way, so I've got to spread the soil before it's too late. I'll deal with those plants tomorrow, but I think that's basically the only other thing. I've smoothed out a ton of the land here and it's looking really awesome, honestly. So super excited to finally get to spread the soil that I've sifted for those 12 hours. And this is where it all comes together. So let's grab a bucket and start spreading it around, and then I can start to smooth it out even more. So let's get it. Here's my bucket. I really wish that I could talk more about the things that I've done, like making this sweet landing here and throw a tent on that in the summer and have a little camp out, but gotta hustle. I'm gonna try to spread it around pretty evenly throughout the yard, and then I'll rake it around, throw some grass seed down. Pretty exciting. All right, and that's about it for today. Well, I still have work to do. I'm gonna go and smooth all my footsteps out by hand and even out the little humps that have just been piling up. But other than that, I will seed, and then I'll show you what it's like when the weather's nice again, because it's gonna start raining and it'll look better later. So give you a little recap in a few. I'm super, super excited about how it's coming along, because this is kind of what I always envisioned for the backyard, and it's finally coming together. So I am extraordinarily happy and so thankful that it's done. My energy level is quite low for good reason. I've been out here since 7:30 in the morning, and it's 7 o'clock right now. So 11 and a half hours of work, but it's all worth it for the long run. Okay, so it has been several weeks now, and the grass has had an opportunity to grow in. I could not be happier with how it's come out. I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to do this well because I've never grown grass before. Where I'm standing right here behind me is where that original hump was that I was digging out, and now this whole area is all smoothed out and it looks so unbelievable. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end. If you want to see more projects like this around the house, I go pretty hard with my ideas, and I'm not afraid to put in work. I think the projects are going to be really unique on our property because there's just so much opportunity here with the land that we have, and I'm very excited to eventually retire here and spend out the rest of my days. Anyway, have a great day guys, and I hope to see you in the next one.